It's time for this week's episode of Brandon Sports Talk, featuring in-depth interviews from those who are trending in the world of athletics. And now, here's the host of Brandon Sports Talk, Brandon Pate.
Welcome back to Brandon Sports Talk. In today's episode, I have the privilege to interview Edward Davis, a sports NFL agent. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great, Brandon. Thanks for having me.
Can you talk about how you knew that you wanted to become an NFL scout agent?
Well, growing up, I always had I wanted to be the idea of being a professional athlete. I'm sure probably like yourself and many others. I grew up in Atlanta, Georgia, well, Stone Mountain, Georgia, not far from Atlanta. And my dream was to play for the Bulldogs, Georgia Bulldogs, and I wanted to play for the Atlanta Falcons. But unfortunately, I didn't grow to be 6'5", and I wasn't the fastest guy in the world. I didn't run a 4.3 40. So I ended up realizing that I might not make it to the NFL, so I had to go a different route, and I ended up, you know, doing my research, and I pivoted, and I became a NFL sports agent. And in 2018, I launched this company, Checkmate Sports, and we've been up and running ever since.
Can you talk about some of the stuff that you do as a sports agent in the NFL?
Basically, being a sports agent, we hold many hats. We're coaches, we're trainers, we're counselors, we're Uber drivers. We do some of everything, but majority of what we do is we negotiate contracts for our clients, and we try to get them endorsements and marketing deals with businesses and sponsors.
Can you talk about is it around a job, like around the clock job for you?
Yes, 24/7. And that's the fun part about it. It's definitely not a 9 to 5. It's a everyday, job, because we are at the call of our clients, and they may need us at 2 in the morning, they may need us at 2 in the afternoon, but we have to be there up and ready for the call.
Can you talk about how you balance, of course, your family and personal life with being a sports agent?
Well, I was blessed enough to have a very supportive wife, who she stands behind me in what I do, and I know it could be a very difficult job because being an agent, you are always on the road. You are always, visiting families and parents, and it couldn't be stressful at on the home front if you don't if your partner doesn't support it. But she understands, this was my dream, and she's there for me. At the moment, we don't have any kids, so I don't have that. That's not a stress. But we, that Lord willing, that be the plan in the future. But as of right now, it's just me and her, and we rocking and rolling. So the home front is good.
Can you talk about how you what is the process between getting clients, like NFL clients, whether they are future players like in college that is going to get drafted or like NFL players that are playing right now?
Well, currently, right now, our target market are guys that are coming out of college. We try to basically just find the guys that you think, women, guys or women, whoever you think is going to make it to the next level. You introduce yourself, try to build that relationship with them, and hopefully, when it comes down to them picking their representation, you made a good impression. You show that you're a honorable person, have good character, and have their best interests at heart, and hopefully that you're their person that they pick.
Who are some of the people that you have represented it, whether they are big name peoples or like regular people?
Um, regular people. My two clients that have made it to the league last year was Travis Reed from South Alabama. He signed with he was an undrafted free agent with the Indianapolis Colts. And Christian Angelo, he was a undrafted free agent with out of Hampton University. He went to the New York Giants, and we was proud to um We think that was a big accomplishment because prior to the draft, both Travis and Christian was unranked, and they came from smaller schools in a pandemic. So due to COVID, they didn't have a pro day. A lot of the normal draft season things that people have with pro days, combines, and all those things. Travis and Christian didn't have any of those things, unfortunately, due to COVID, and we were still able to get them into the league. We say that proud that we got those guys into the league because it took a lot of time and effort to make that happen.
Can you talk about, of course, as a sports scout, what is pro day like for you?
Well, as a sports agent, it's different as far as the pro days because as on the agent side, our job is to make sure that our clients are in a good mental state. I mean, a lot of times, unless they went to the combine, the past 2 months of training has been up until this point. So everything that we put, the blood, sweat, and tears of combine training, pro day training is this is the test. So I just want to make sure that they're in a good mental state, that everything goes through smoothly, that they have the cleats that they want, that they have the gloves that they want, that they had a good pre-stretch, that they had a good breakfast, that everything is clicking on all cylinders so that when it's time for them to perform, it's a smooth transition and we can leave it all out on the field.
What does it look like for the NFL Combine as a sports agent?
As an agent, the NFL Combine is basically the who's who of the NFL. Everybody you can imagine that's pretty much deals with sports is usually at the Combine. The agent job is pretty much the same as always to make sure that our clients get where they need to go. They need to be if they need to have an interview. They need to be there at such and such time. If they have to, when it's time for them to perform on the field, we want to make sure that they're stretched, that they're in a good mental state, that they don't have any baggage, that they're not thinking about anything that's not important at the moment. Because a good 40, a good bench press, a good workout can really increase or decrease their stock. So we just want to make sure that they're locked in and ready to go.
Who was some of your inspiration behind becoming a sports agent?
Uh, I'm really, I think um Jerry Maguire was a great is I think that's everybody's introduction into the sports management world. So you definitely want to say Jerry Maguire was a great inspiration. But to be honest, I think my family was an inspiration for me to want to get into the field because I always felt as me being who I am, I was going to be the leader for my family, and I needed to get into a profession that will allow me to take care of everybody. And once I realized that I wasn't going to be a professional athlete, the next way that I saw myself taking care of my family was being an agent. So I think they inspired me to really not only get into the profession, but to stick with it because it is difficult at times.
Sports agent, have you met famous people like in your industry, such as Jerry Maguire and such as the famous Drew Rosenhauer?
Yes, Jerry Maguire is actually a movie character. So he's not real, but the guys who represented or who's based off of Jerry Maguire, which is Lee Steinberg, I actually had the opportunity to meet him. I attended his sports agent class in 2019, and I actually did. I saw Drew Rosenhaus a couple of times, once at the Senior Bowl and at the NFL Combine. And I've seen the agent world is pretty tight. It's a small world, so we pretty much see each other at all the meetings that we have to go to. And so yeah, I've pretty much seen all the who's of sports agents.
Can you talk about your business, the Checkmate Sports?
Yes, well, it was a business that like I said, I founded in 2018. And our goal is to basically represent clients in every sport. We start out in NFL right now. I'm taking the NBA agent test in January, so we're definitely trying to get into the NBA as well. And hopefully we end up getting into all sports and entertainment down the road. But company is just something. It's a company that I had to build, not out of because I wanted to, but out of necessity. I actually wanted to work with other firms when I first got out of college. But I realized that it's so competitive, and in the way the agent's business model is, a lot of them don't want to bring in new agents. So I'm the type of person that if I come to if it doesn't work this way, then we're just going to do it another way. So I started Checkmate Sports, and we've been up and running ever since. And our goal at Checkmate Sports is to basically um, what I experienced of not being allowed into the industry, we want to do the opposite. So I created what we call the Checkmate Sports Agent Masterclass. And what we do with that class is people who have a burning desire and a passion, and of course, great character that want to get into this industry. We allow them to go through our master class. And if they pass it and they show that they have the positive energy and the mindset that we need, we bring them up and we bring them into Checkmate Sports. And that's how we plan to grow our company.
Can you talk more about your training session that you were talking about?
As far as the master class for agents who want to inspire agents.
Yes.
Okay, basically, like I said, it's a training program where people that want to get into the space, that want to be agents, we allowing them to get a behind the scenes, behind the curtains look at the daily life, the education and the information that they need to succeed. Because believe it or not, I know it's hard to believe. A lot of big time firms and these lawyers and people who've been in the industry for years, they want new agents to fail. They don't want these agents, me included, to come into this business and take competition from them. They want us to go bankrupt. They want us to, all these things they wanted. And I experienced that my first year. So I said that I wanted to do something different. And I wanted to allow people who had the desire like me, because I know how it feels to be blocked out, to a way in. So we created the Checkmate Sports Agent Masterclass. And with the first class is actually going to be January 5th, 2021. And we're allowing people who want to get into the space and become agents to come in, and we're going to train them up. We're going to give them all the information that they need. We're going to give them the contacts that they need. And the most important part, if they pass the class, they're going to get the opportunity to work with us and to get that credibility that they need, that will cut the learning curve in half and will also save them a bunch of money. Because being my first year without having anybody to bring me in, I had to pay to play. So everything that I learned came at the cost of me paying for the information. So we're just trying to, lessen that load for the next person up, the next generation.
Can you talk about the process between in getting to be an NFL scout?
To be a NFL agent, the process is you have to, the old way is, and what I thought was, you have to go to college, you have to graduate, get your bachelor's, then you have to go to law school and get in a bunch of debt, or you go get your master's or MBA. But what we're doing in my master classes, we're teaching people the new way. And the new way is that and I don't want to get into depth because I want people to come to the class, but there's a way that you can become a sports agent now without having a college degree. And that is the method that we're trying to teach people who want to get into the space. So if you want to become an agent without a degree, I suggest that whoever's watching this, you visit the website. It's sportsagentmasterclass.com, spelled exactly like that, sportsagentmasterclass.com. Sign up, register, and hopefully we'll see you in class.
What advice would you give upcoming future sports agents looking to get into the industry?
I guess you can call this bias. I would say register for the web class. Register for my master class. That's the easiest way to get into the industry without having to go get a bunch of student loan debts from grad school or from law school. But if you want to be a knucklehead and you want to do it your way, then I guess the best way to go about it is to probably do what you're doing, and make a podcast. Try to establish yourself as an expert in the field, and hopefully you can build some traction with that, and somebody take a a liking to you and give you opportunity.
What is some of your future plans whenever it comes to being a sports agent?
Well, like I said previously, our plan is to get into basketball, help get into all the other sports, but even more, what I think is more important, we want to help our clients off the field. A lot of we know the stigma that comes with being an athlete, where you make a lot of money when you're young, and then 5 years after they're done playing, they're no longer well off. And I have a rich forever mindset. So one of my things that I have in place or plans in the future is to develop a program or develop something that we can create for athletes, and then just be for athletes, where they can invest in, or they can have a partnership or have some equity in, where that when they're done playing, they might not be making the same amount of money as their playing days, but their quality of life doesn't go down. So that's my plan for the future. Eventually take over the sports entertainment world, but not only that, but provide a platform or a way for players to have a good quality of life when they're done.
Where can my listeners find you at on social media?
You can find me on Instagram at call my agent underscore. Again, it's call my agent, CALLMYAGENT underscore, and it's the same on Twitter. And I would love for whoever is interested to get into the space, follow me on Instagram, follow me on Twitter, send me a message, introduce yourself, and we'll see what happens from there.
Thank you again, Edward, for your interview, and best of luck as being a sports agent in the NFL.
Thank you, Brandon, for having me. Take care.
You can find Brandon Sports Talk on Facebook at Brandon Sports Talk, Instagram at Brandon Sports Talk, Twitter at Talk_Brandon, and you can find me on YouTube at Brandon Sports Talk. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you again, Edward, for your interview, and best of luck.
All right, take care.
You've been watching Brandon Sports Talk. Please feel free to like, share, and subscribe to Brandon Sports Talk on social media and on YouTube.